going on, guys? So we're going to take a look at the new Call of Duty raid that dropped on December 14th, which is Wednesday. So let's hop right in here and take a look. So first thing is first, in order to get into the raid, they actually make you do a couple things. You need a raid assignment. In order to get that raid assignment, you have to do one of three things. Either number one, you can go and get top 20 in Warzone. Doesn't matter what Warzone playlist you play. As long as you get top 20 in any of the playlists, you'll get a raid assignment at the end. Or you can exfil with 30k or more cash in DMZ, but it has to be on the 4th chopper, which is the last exfil chopper. So that one's a little bit tougher because, you know, people are going to be fighting for that last chopper. But if you like DMZ, go for it. Or you can do daily challenges in multiplayer or Spec Ops. So you get those done and you have a chance at getting one of them there. Personally, I think the easiest way to do this right now, if you're listening to it today, is December 15th, the day after. The easiest way to do it is to hop into a Warzone mini trios playlist. If you hop in that playlist with the squad of 3, you're automatically in the top 20 because there's a small amount of teams with a smaller mini Warzone playlist. So you're already in the top 20 when you load into the playlist, which means you could just go crazy if you want to stay there and try to win it, or you just want to go and kill yourself. Either way, you get that top 20, and you guys get your raid assignment. So you did what you need to do, and now you want to hop into the raid. So you go over to the raid screen. You can see here on my screen there. And on the top right, you'll see it says raid assignment. So everybody in your party has to have a raid assignment to start the raid. Once everybody has one, you want to hit the prompt on your screen to activate it. For controller people, it's just right trigger. I believe on keyboard might just be to click your mouse or just click up there. You activate the raid assignment, and then the party leader can hop you guys into the raid, and you can check out the first cutscene, which I won't spoil, so we're going to just skip right through that into the action. And we're in the raid. So this gameplay you're watching is from my stream on December 14th. I'll just kind of talk over it as we go through it. So it's just a bunch of enemies that you'll face throughout the raid, just like a Call of Duty Spec Ops mission. That's kind of the easiest thing I can compare this to. It's not that much different than doing like a Spec Ops mission, except for a couple parts. There are some challenges and some different puzzles that I'll kind of go through and try to explain it as you watch it. So this beginning intro part, you launch in, you're in the tunnels here. It's just a bunch of firefights you're going to go through, clear the enemies. Beware, there will be some claymore mines further ahead. Also, there will be some juggernauts that you fight. As you can see, one of my teammates will also drop here. You can revive your teammates, but once everybody's dead, of course, it's a wipe, and it'll restart you at your last checkpoint. You do have plates, as you can see, just like a Spec Ops mission or a Warzone game. You do have armor plates you can put in as well. You have all these other equipments. And one other thing I want to point out too is you might see that it looks like I have a kill streak there. That is a Juggernaut suit that you can throw on. Everyone gets at least one of them, and you can just throw that on at any time. The Assault guy, as you can see, just uses the armor case there. So make sure to always have some plates on handy and plate up whenever you can, and just fight off these waves of enemies as they come through. So you keep killing the enemies till you find this room here. You're going to see there's some cameras and some other machines there. There's a garage door on the right, actually, where you can let somebody in there by holding the button. It'll open halfway, so somebody has to hold the button. The person can duck into the other room where there's another set of cameras. So the setup here is you're going to have one person on each set of cameras. So one in the first room, one in the second room. And then you can have one person in front of the code machine, which you'll see. I'll show you over here. So I'll pause it here so you can see the machine on the left, the red machine there. That is where the code is. And on the right machine there, that's where you're going to enter in the code that you need. So let's go take a look at the first machine so you can actually see up close what it looks like. All right, and there is the first machine, so you can see the code in red there. The little screen below it is the number of attempts that you have. So if you've entered the code in wrong 3 times, you just have to push a button there, and it's going to reset the code for everybody. So you have a new set of codes if you do mess it up 3 times. But there you go, the red code is in red there. So you're going to call out, if you're reading the code, you're going to call out these symbols in red to your teammates. So in this case, I said it was 6TB. A little weird looking 6, but you know, it looks like a 6 to me. And I would call that out to them. And what they're doing is they're going to look in their cameras for those symbols. So let's go take a look at the camera point. And this is the camera point of view. So in this scene, I was flipping through the channels until I got to this one channel on my camera. And I could see that the top 3 symbols are there. And underneath the symbols are numbers. So as the code reader is calling out his code that he sees in red on that machine, you're going to look at your symbols in your camera, And if you have one of those symbols, just let the code reader know, hey, that code or that symbol is number whatever. So in this example, let's say he calls out the letter P. I'm going to say, all right, hey, P is the number 1. He's going to memorize that until he gets 3 numbers. All right, so if you're the code reader, you hear those 3 numbers that your teammates called out. You're going to head over to the code machine on the right here. You use it, and once you use it, it takes a little bit. You got to hold down the button prompt on it, and you're going to enter those 3 numbers that your teammates called out. If you did it correctly, it'll tell you that you did it correct. If not, it'll say incorrect code, and you have to try it again. Again, you only get 3 attempts, and then you have to reset the code and do another set of symbols to do it. So just calm down, make sure you get the right numbers. You aren't timed in this first part, so it's pretty simple. But once you enter in that first code, that's when you do have to rotate. So if you entered in the first code, the next teammate will enter the next code. You can't do it twice. It'll actually lock you out of the system, so you can't do it twice. So you have to get somebody else on the code machine to enter it in. But that's it. So once he enters in the third code, the main submarine doors there will open in this tunnel, and you guys can move on to the next part. All right, so now you come into this room with the submarine. So this is the next section of the raid here. So on the left-hand side of the submarine, on the other opposite side of the room on the left, you'll see a air canister over there on the left side. Somebody in your team has to grab it. There's actually only 1 air canister here, so make sure somebody picks it up. And there's only 1 air canister. That means you and your teammates have to share the air canister. So this whole next section is all underwater. So you have to use the O2 can just to get your air back while you're underwater. And then your teammates can actually grab it off of you to take it and use it. So basically you just got to pass the O2 can around. So make sure everybody doesn't drown while you're down there. But this next part's pretty simple. It's a lot of just underwater swimming, going from room to room, trying to make progress and keep moving forward. There will be traps down here, so just beware of these traps. I'm not going to show you the exact route. It's a very, very long route. Just take your time and go through it. Make sure no one drowns down there. Use that O2 can and share it around to you and your teammates. All right, so you survived the water rooms. You got past that area. And now you can, don't worry about the O2 can. Once you walk into this room, it'll actually just disappear, just fall off of you as soon as you walk in here. This is just a safe room. There are a bunch of different weapons in this room. So make sure you stock up on a lot of ammo, any lethals you need, Molotovs, grenades, anything like that. There's M4s. There is, I believe, some machine guns, a bunch of Semtaxes, and like I said, Molotovs, some C4s and stuff like that. So just make sure you stock up, make sure everybody has their plates up, and get ready, because this next part, you're going to face a lot of enemies in this next part as you do some more code inputting, just like before, but with a little bit of a twist. And you have to do some defending against waves of enemies as well. All right, as you move into the next room after the safe room, that's when the combat begins. You're just going to be facing waves and waves of enemies. There will be some juggernauts, so you have to just keep an eye out for that. Take them, make sure to lead them around corners, shoot them in the back of the head if you can get somebody to sneak behind them, and take those juggernauts out. And you're going to keep moving and moving and moving until you get to this room here. All right, once you're in this room, it's like a small circular room here. There'll be a refill spot right in the middle. Unfortunately, this entire room is underwater, so you will be standing. Your character's going to be standing, but it's like you're in chest-high water. So it's not like you're not really swimming, but it's still kind of awkward, but just you have to deal with it. But it's like a circular room. And off to the right here, you'll see there's a little tiny staircase, so you can jump up the boxes there. You go down this hallway here, there'll be some enemies here in this room you got to clear out. There will be just, some armored enemies. There will be, I believe, a juggernaut as well. You might see us clear that out as well. But once you clear out the room, there's a console there right in front of you. You can turn that console on, and that's the first room that someone's going to stay in. There's also a sentry gun there, so if somebody wants to stay there, that's where they're going to defend that console, and they can use that sentry gun. It's very, very useful. You'll have tons of enemies flowing in from the sides and from where you came from. Now, I'm going to show you the next room. It's off to the right here. So I'm just running through the waters here. There is a resupply as you go through here, which is very useful. Feel free to just stock up there, use it. It's very, very useful. But the second room, you just keep going down the hallway right off to the side from the first room. And you see there, I was just telling my teammates that there's refill there if they need it. But you keep going down this hallway here, and this is where you're going to get into the second room where the second console is at. So same thing, just clear out this room. There's a bunch of enemies in here. There wasn't a Juggernaut in the first room, but there definitely is, I remember, in this second room. The second room's a little bit of a pain because you're fighting from the low ground looking up, and they'll throw some grenades and stuff at you and just shoot you from the top up there. So just take your time, take the enemies out, make sure to plate up and use all the resources you got, because there's that refill station. You could just spam nades in there if you need to, or back up to that refill if you need more plates as well too. So, but again, just take your time, and then once you get the console, you'll just turn that on, and the second person can stay into that room. Okay, when everyone's set up in the room, you'll have one person at each console. You have one person in the main circular room entering in the codes. That's when the objective up top is going to change on the top left there. Watch out, you have some bomb drones, as you can see, enter the room. You may get some enemies coming in your room as well. So kind of same thing as the first puzzle. You're going to see that code in the back wall there, and you're just going to read out the numbers. If your code reader is calling out your symbol, you just read out the numbers like you've done in the first puzzle. You'll also notice up top there is a timer where it says Cipher 1, Cipher 2. So you are timed on each cipher. When it hits 0, all it does is it just changes the code. That's it. So even if you're at Cipher 2 or Cipher 3, it doesn't matter. Once it hits 0, it's just going to reset the code. So feel free, take your time. Don't worry too much. The only thing you have to worry about is when it hits that 0 mark and it resets the code, you will have some enemies spawn in here. You see I'm just fighting off some enemies from outside the room. This room will also be filled with gas too, occasionally, so you just want to watch out for that. If you do get gas in the room and you got to escape, you can go under the water to avoid the gas here, as you can see it says there. So I just kind of stay out of the room for a bit, let the gas clear. There was a certain point here on the next cipher where they need to know my code, so I just stick my head in here, I look right at the wall real quick, and then I get out. The gas hurts a lot, but I just need to see that code real quick, so I peeked right in there. I got the code and I got out. But once you get all 3 codes, again, just like the first puzzle, if you enter in the code first, one of your other teammates has to enter the second code. It will lock you out. It won't let you enter in the last code. So after Cipher 2 was entered here by my teammate, I'm going to rush to the center, and I'm going to enter in the last code here. So I'm going to show you the pathway to the code machine here. So you see I'm in that room there. All you got to do is just go down the hallway. Me and my teammate here are going to swap positions. He's going to go into that room. I'm going to head to the middle here. So again, if you don't know where the code machine is, you can see it here. I'm going to just go through the middle tunnel here as you watch this video and go into the ring room. And it's right off to the left here, past the first room. Just keep going and you'll see the code machine. It's pretty obvious. Just it looks exactly like the first machine as well too. So again, you have on your right, that's where you enter, or sorry, on the right, it's where you get the code. On the left is where you enter in the actual numbers, and then that's where you get the final code there. So I'm going to read off the codes to my teammates. I read that off to them, and then I'll enter in the last code, and I'll tell you what happens after that. All right, so when that final code is entered, you'll see you get 4 minutes, and you have to defend the blast doors. So once those 4 minutes are up, those blast doors will open, but of course, until those 4 minutes are up, you have to defend it from all the waves of enemies. There's that resupply over here on the left side. So what my team did is we split up. We had one person kind of hang out with the resupply here and just use that every now and then. And then the other 2 people watch the right side because they come flooding out of the tunnels where those 2 rooms were on the right. Make sure you have a couple different weapons. I carried an RPK along with just a regular, I think, AK, I believe, or maybe it was an M4, I can't remember. But just shoot the enemies down. You have bomb drones, armored enemies. You'll even have a couple juggernauts as well. If they do make it to the blast doors, the enemies will try to plant a bomb, and you have a very, very short window to defuse that bomb. If you don't defuse it, then everybody dies. Don't worry though, if you do all die, you just respawn here, back here, and you can try it again. So once those 4 minutes up, I'll show you what happens after that. Alright, and then here's the last 30 seconds of us just defending the door. You see I threw on my Juggernaut suit, my teammate went down, things were just getting crazy within the last minute. You have just bomb drones, these dudes just sprinting at the door, trying to plant bombs on the door, so you have to defuse it. It gets kind of crazy. But as long as you get through these last 30 seconds, then you're pretty much done with, that's it. So after the 30 seconds go up, everyone just has to regroup over to the door. You'll see here when the timer runs out here, it will just finish the objective, everyone just regroups at the door. Everyone gets here, you just press X, or you press whatever prompt you have out on the door. It'll say 0 out of 3 up there. So once everyone just does it up there at the door, then you guys are all finished. All right, before we finish up here, I'm just going to show you guys the post-raid cutscene to show you what happens in the story if you are interested to see what may happen in the episode number 2 of the raid that we're supposed to get next season. But before I do, just wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys think of the raid? If you have done it, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Personally, I enjoyed the raid a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. There's some cool puzzles in it. I do think I wish it was a little bit longer than I thought going into it. Maybe that's because, I play Destiny and I've seen other raids like, World of Warcraft raids and stuff like that. I know they take a lot longer, and I wasn't really expecting it to be that long, but I was expecting it to be a little bit longer than what it was. We got this done. Our first run was about an hour. We went through it again a second time, kind of done in about like 25-30 minutes. So I feel like once you know the mechanics, you can run through this thing super, super, super quick. There is veteran mode that will be a little bit harder, but just let me know your thoughts in the below, what you think of the raid, and what they should improve on. What do you think they did good, so on and so forth. So, all right, I'll stop talking now. Enjoyed this post cutscene, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Stay center. Gaz, check left.
Roger.
No movement.
Same.
Eyes front. Show your hands!
Door! Door!
They're all dead.
Easy, they could be rigged.
No wires. These two are clear.
All clear here.
These are my soldiers. This is Arif. He volunteered to go in with Alex.
Then where the hell's Alex?
Echo 3-1, this is Kilo Actual. How copy? Echo 3-1, do you read?
Roger, this is Bravo in a blind radio check. Laswell, are you getting this? Kate?
We're too deep. No signals.
Concrete and metal. Can't send or receive.
Yeah, it's a silo, all right.
Found power. Lights up. Holy hell.
يا ترى سلام رخيلة هنا.
Soviet ICBM. Liquid fuel, supersonic.
Nuclear.
Thermonuclear.
50 years old.
At least.
You think there's a warhead up there?
Let's find out.